Zelda's lore is confusing. Let's talk about it. I grew up obsessed with Zelda's lore, but with every new game Nintendo releases, the timeline gets messier and harder to follow. And with Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom destroying the timeline even further, where do they actually fit in the official story? And it doesn't stop there. There's even a Zelda game that completely rewrites the entire thing. But don't worry, because I'm here to fix that. We're going to do a deep dive into each mainline Zelda game's lore and where they fit into the timeline. By the end of this video, you won't just know the Zelda timeline, you will understand it. And we're gonna do it in 18 minutes. The story starts before time itself. No, literally, it's empty like a gym in the second week of January. 3 golden goddesses descend into that mess. So, what do? Well, Din, the goddess of power, shapes the earth. Nehru, goddess of wisdom, introduces order. And Furore, goddess of courage, breathes life into it all. And together, Hyrule is born. Well, this one at least. More on that later. When their work is done, they leave behind an artifact that can grant any wish, the Triforce. But that begs the question, what happens to something so powerful when its creators leave? Enter the goddess Hylia. She's entrusted with the Triforce, but peace doesn't last. Why is that? It's because a demon king named Demise has gathered an army to steal the Triforce. The goddess Hylia needed to act quickly, so to protect her people, Hylia raised a piece of land into the sky. Sound familiar? She raised it beyond a cloud barrier for extra protection. Then she hid the Triforce there and sealed Demise away. But all this didn't come without consequences. She was wounded when trying to use the Triforce on Demise. Because she's a goddess, she renounced her divinity, then chose to be reborn as a mortal to one day use the Triforce against Demise. Before using her power, Hylia created the Goddess Sword and the great, totally not annoying, Fi to guide the future hero, better known as the Master Sword later on. Fast forward thousands of years, Hylia is reborn, but as who? You can kinda guess where I'm going with this. None other than Zelda herself, but something happens. During Zelda and Link's schoolwing ceremony, a sudden tornado sends Zelda plummeting to the earth. Don't ask me who did it, I'm still traumatized. Zelda's childhood friend named Link, who reveals himself as Hylia's chosen hero, which is funny because he's like the laziest guy in the entire game, draws the Goddess Sword, making him Hylia's chosen champion. With it, he descends to the land to save Zelda. With every dungeon Link tackles, yields sacred flames, each one transforming the blade until it becomes the Master Sword. But there's a catch. Demise is still sealed away. How will Link even get there? It's not like he can drive there himself. Wait, do Hylians even drive? Don't answer that. He steps through the Gate of Time for one final showdown. Together, Link and Zelda use the Triforce to defeat Demise. But just when victory seems complete, Demise curses their bloodlines. God, I wish I was this petty. His hatred will be reborn again and again as Ganon. With this threat gone, what do our heroes do? They descend to the surface, found the Kingdom of Hyrule, and give rise to the Hylians we know today. But wait, what's stopping anyone from touching the Triforce after the events of Skyward Sword? I'm glad you asked. Oh, you didn't ask? That was just me talking to myself? Oh. To protect the Triforce, Rauru, the Sage of Light, builds the Temple of Time. He also locks the Master Sword behind the Door of Time while placing the Triforce in the Temple of Light, which is sealed away in the Sacred Realm. Jeez, I wonder how anyone could get past all this. Alright, we open it for him. More on that later. Now with the foundation out the way, let's talk about the Minish Cap and Four Swords. Generations pass. Hyrule endures wars and magic. During the Force era, a tiny creature called Pikori descended from the sky. But why? It's to present 2 gifts to the hero of men, the Pikori Blade and the Golden Light. In the Minish Cap, the corrupted sorcerer Vadi shatters the Pikori Blade and turns Princess Zelda into stone. I wouldn't be surprised if he emoted before he left to put salt on the wound. After a few dungeons and gaining all 4 elements, Link reforges the blade into the Force Sword and defeats Vati. But has he truly gone? No. Vati returns in 4 swords, kidnapping Zelda until Link does the unthinkable, splitting himself into 4 separate heroes. Again, to stop Vati once and for all. All of this eventually leads us to Ocarina of Time. This is where it gets confusing, so stay with me. Link learns that the Gerudo King Ganondorf plans to steal the Triforce. Guided by Princess Zelda and the fairy Navi, he opens the Door of Time and pulls the Master Sword. But because of this, he's sealed away for 7 years because he wasn't old enough to wield it. I still remember the first time I saw the cutscene, it was so freaking awesome. Anyways, so what happens while he's gone? Ganondorf touches the Triforce, but it shatters into 3 because his heart is unbalanced. He keeps the piece of power, while Link and Zelda receive courage and wisdom. Inevitably, adult Link and the 7 sages defeat Ganon and seal him in the evil realm. Good riddance. So here we all thought we were getting a happy ending. I know I did. But Zelda ends up sending Link back to his childhood to live out his lost years. Literally, no one would want this, by the way. This moment fractures history forever because the timeline officially splits into 3. So yes, blame Zelda. If Link is defeated during the final battle with Ganon, we get the downfall timeline. If he wins and returns to childhood and warns Zelda about the future events, like how Ocarina of Time ended originally, we get the child timeline. And if we focus on the events after Link is sent back to his childhood, Ganondorf will break the sage's seal eventually and there won't be a hero around to stop him. That will be the adult timeline. Still with me? Good. Keep in mind that the Master Sword exists in all 3 branches, but remember these branches, they will matter later. Let's start with the saddest branch of the timeline. Here, the hero of time loses to Ganondorf. Then he seizes the pieces of the Triforce that belong to Link and Zelda, gaining complete power. Can anyone stop him? The 7 sages barely manage to trap him inside the corrupted sacred realm, now twisted into the dark world. But without Link's victory, what becomes of Hyrule? It descends into chaos. This is the downfall timeline. Centuries later, Ganon manipulates a wizard named Aghanim to break the seal and free him. Our young hero Link rescues Princess Zelda, gathers 3 magical pendants, and draws the Master Sword, which is now in a forest. Where's the Temple of Time, you ask? Probably got blown up or something. He then travels between light and dark worlds, defeats Ganon, and wishes on the Triforce to restore peace. But is that the end? Not quite. On his journey home, Link shipwrecks and he wakes up on a strange place called Koholint Island, the setting of Link's awakening. The island is a dream of the Windfish. Link collects 8 instruments, defeats the bosses, and inevitably wakes the Windfish, causing the island, and everyone in it, to vanish. All the people you've met, the memories you've made, all gone in an instant. It's a bittersweet detour in the saga, adding one more dark layer to the downfall timeline. Well, that was depressing. Anyways. Next up in the downfall timeline are the Oracle games. It starts with Ganon's surrogate mothers, the witch's twin Rova. What's their plan? To ignite the flames to resurrect Ganon. In Oracle of Seasons and Oracle of Ages, Link travels to Holodrum and Labrina, saves the Oracles Din and Nehru from being kidnapped, and prevents Ganon's resurrection. Does that end the trouble? Not quite. Years later, the barrier between worlds ruptures again in A Link Between Worlds. Link uses the merge ability to become a painting and travel between Hyrule and his mirror world of Lorule. By doing so, he saves both kingdoms and helps rebuild Lorule by using Hyrule's Triforce. Good guy Link strikes again. And just when you think things won't get any darker, Triforce Heroes follows with a whimsical adventure. Yes, I say whimsical. I'm not being sarcastic. I promise. Here, the 3 Link teams up to save the princess from a curse. It's lighthearted, but it sits here in the downfall timeline to show that not all post-apocalyptic eras are gloomy, if you get what I mean. According to Nintendo, this upcoming game takes place between Triforce of Heroes and the original Legend of Zelda, Echoes of Wisdom. Why is that important? Because in this adventure, Princess Zelda finally takes the lead to rescue Link, and the tone of Triforce Heroes transitions neatly into the darker events that follow. In Echoes of Wisdom, Zelda wields the Triforce of Wisdom to craft echoes, which are copies of objects and enemies, to solve puzzles and fight. By the time she saves Link, Hyrule is unstable and on the brink of collapse, setting the stage for the original Legend of Zelda. And what happens there? An older Link must gather pieces of the shattered Triforce of Courage, save Zelda, and defeat Ganon, which is somehow still alive. But it's not over yet. The adventure of Link follows immediately after, with Link now 16 years of age, restoring the Triforce of Courage, waking Princess Zelda from a sleeping curse, and stopping the last followers of Ganon, ending the downfall timeline once and for all. This time I'm serious, right? Okay, let's rewind time. So with the downfall timeline concluded, let's discuss the next branch, the child era. Here, the events of Ocarina of Time don't really happen per se. Basically, in the first encounter Link and Zelda have after getting the Spiritual Stone of Forest, instead of Zelda sending you off to your new journey in Death Mountain, this time, you tell Zelda what will happen since you still have your memories from before you got sent back to childhood, showing her your Triforce of Courage as proof. With that, Ganondorf is sent to prison, and the events of Ocarina of Time are avoided entirely. Zelda then entrusts you with the Ocarina and advises you to go far away from Hyrule for safekeeping. Then they part ways. Kinda sad if you think about it. At least celebrate my boy Link. Anyways, after Zelda tells Link to go touch some grass, he gets his horse Epona and rides off into the unknown. But instead of just, you know, finding a new village to stay at, Link is on a small journey to look for his old fairy companion Navi. Unfortunately, he runs into the Skull Kid, and what happens next? He gets cursed into the body of a dead Deku Scrub. This is the start of Majora's Mask, probably one of the more darker Zelda games out there. This game takes place in Termina, basically the game's version of Hyrule. A lot of the people look really familiar. There's not really a deep meaning behind that. It was just easier for Nintendo to use Ocarina of Time assets because of the game's short development time. Still a great game though. Anyway, Termina's got problems, and by problems I mean giant nightmare moon with a creepy smile about to nuke the entire planet's problems. The only reason this is even happening is because Skull Kid is, well, bored. So Link sets off to fix everything. Luckily, Link still has the Ocarina of Time, which lets him rewind the last 3 days over and over again. After saving everyone multiple times and calling in 4 literal giants to hold up the moon, because why not, Link finally takes on Majora's Mask itself. Link then defeats Majora, Skull Kid gets uncursed, the creepy mask salesman gets his mask back, and Link rides off to, well, hopefully somewhere he can finally rest for once. Years after Ocarina of Time, Ganondorf finally gets caught and dragged to the Arbiter's ground for execution. The sages stab him with a giant sword, and he just shrugs it off thanks to the Triforce of Power. So instead of dying, he gets banished to a brand new, we swear this area was here all along, place called the Twilight Realm. There, Ganondorf hypes up a local there named Zant, who invades Hyrule, drowns it in twilight, and turns everyone into spooky little ghost people. And just when things look bad, Link shows up, as a wolf, with the Triforce of Courage of course. Link teams up with Midna, the cursed Twilight Princess herself, and together, they purge the Twilight, find the Master Sword, snowboard with the Yeti, I'm not even kidding, fix a magic mirror, and stomp Zant. But of course, Ganondorf's still squatting in Hyrule Castle, so Link fights him before finally planting the Master Sword in his chest for good. This time, the Triforce of Power doesn't save him. The curse lifts, Midna reveals her true form, says goodbye, and shatters the Mirror of Twilight, cutting her world from Hyrule forever. A bit sad, really. A few hundred years after Twilight Princess, Hyrule is kind of at peace. Until suddenly, guess who's back? Yup, Ganondorf. He kind of, respawns in the Gerudo tribe. First thing he does, breaks into the Forbidden Pyramid, yoinks a magical trident, and grabs a mysterious dark mirror. No relation to Twilight Princess mirror, by the way. Nintendo just really likes mirrors, I guess. He even revives Vati, the Wind Wizard, and together they kidnap Zelda and cover Hyrule in darkness. So what's Link's solution? He pulls out the 4 swords, clones himself, and basically he just jumps Vati. After that, they tag team Ganon when he shows up, showing absolutely no mercy. The 4 Links seal Ganon away, put the sword back, and wait for the next time Nintendo wants to add another multiplayer game. Let's rewind time just one more time. Alright, so here's the adult timeline, after Ocarina of Time. With no hero around, Ganondorf breaks free, because of course he does, and the King of Hyrule panics. His solution? Call the gods, who then decide, let's just flood the entire kingdom. And boom, Hyrule becomes Atlantis. Joking, I'm joking. Anyways, now enter Wind Waker. Here, people survive by living on mountaintops that are now islands, and the king hangs out underwater with the ruins. Years later, Ganondorf is back at it, kidnapping girls and searching for Zelda. The king, now a talking boat, yes really, recruits pirate Tetra and a kid named Link, who just wanted to save his sister but ends up saving the whole ocean. Link sails around, meets tree people, bird people, finds the Master Sword, and rebuilds the Triforce of Courage. Tetra learns she's actually Zelda, surprise surprise, and together, they face Ganondorf. Before Ganon can grab the Triforce, the king wishes Hyrule away forever. Link and Zelda tag team Ganondorf with light arrows and a Master Sword to the head. Kind of brutal if you ask me. And sell off to a brand new future as Hyrule sinks. After Wind Waker, Tetra and Link chase down the creepy ghost ship. Tetra gets kidnapped. Remind you of anyone? Link gets tossed overboard, and he wakes up on an island with a fairy, a wise old man named Oshus, and Captain Limebeck, who mostly just wants treasure. Plot twist, Oshus is actually the Ocean King, the fairy is the spirit of courage, and Limebeck, yeah, he's just Limebeck. Link grabs the Phantom Hourglass, rewinds time, forges a new sword, and defeats the evil Squid Bellum. Oshus turns back into a giant silver whale. Peace returns, and when Link and Tetra get back, only 10 minutes have passed. Remind you of anything? I miss Link's Awakening. After Phantom Hourglass, Link and Tentra find a new continent and call it New Hyrule. Fast forward 100 years, and the magical train tracks holding evil in check start disappearing. Princess Zelda teams up with the new Link, but a shady politician named Cole, yes, the guy with two hats, steals Zelda's body to revive the Demon King, Malladus. However, it kinda backfires since Ghost Zelda ends up helping us. Link and Spirit Zelda restore the tracks, fight Malladus, who literally becomes an evil train, and save the kingdom. Trains are officially canon in Zelda now. This is the end of the Zelda timeline as we know it. Just kidding. Nintendo has added 2 more games to that timeline, with them putting these 2 games outside the original timeline altogether. But here's why I believe they belong in the timeline, starting with Breath of the Wild. So far into the future, everything before is just a myth. It doesn't matter which timeline we are in. Too much time has passed for it to matter. That's what Nintendo says at least. Basically, Hyrule keeps getting bullied by one evil being, Calamity Ganon. 10,000 years before Breath of the Wild, the Sheikah built a bunch of giant murder robots basically to help seal him away. They're called the Vine Beast. Fast forward, he comes back, hacks the robots, yes, Ganon literally said Scammer gets scammed, and nukes the kingdom. 100 years later, Link wakes up from a nap in the Shrine of Resurrection. He runs around climbing everything in sight and glitching through walls. I'm kidding. Yeah, I'm looking at you speedrunners. And eats an unhealthy number of apples. And with Zelda's help, finally seals Calamity Ganon once and for all. That's where Breath of the Wild leaves us. Until Tears of the Kingdom breaks everything open. Turns out Calamity Ganon wasn't just a random evil being. Shocker, I know. It was coming from a mummified Ganondorf who's been chilling underground for like, ever. Link and Zelda stumble on him, and things go sideways fast. Zelda gets yeeted into the past, Link loses his arm, and Ganondorf, well, he gets a glow up. Zelda finds herself at the Fountain of Hyrule with Rauru, a god-descendant sky guy, not the Ocarina of Time one, and Queen Sonya. She witnesses the imprisoning war, where Ganondorf first gets sealed. Don't get confused with the original imprisoning war. Remember, even though Zelda went thousands of years into the past, we are still in the future of every Zelda game. This is not really stated by Nintendo though. So how do we know this? Here's my take on it. The 3 Zelda timelines eventually get so messed up by the Triforce and Hylia's power that they just collapse. Ganon jumps on the chaos, heroes and princesses fight back, and when it's all too far gone, they use the Triforce one last time to reset the world. No Hylia, no Triforce, just the original curse cycle of Link, Zelda, and Ganon. Here's why it makes sense. The Rito suddenly exist, even though they only evolved in one timeline. The Triforce? Totally gone other than a few mentions here and there, probably forgotten in time. Dragons were dying out in Skyward Sword, but now there's a few in the recent games. Fi talks to Zelda again, even though she was supposed to be sleeping forever. And the Sages? Replaced by Zonai Stoneholders. Whether the timelines literally merged, fate forced them back together, or Nintendo just shrugged and said, all roads lead to here, I guess. It all works. Back in the present, Link runs around rebuilding Hyrule, powers up his new magic arm, and eventually faces Ganondorf's final form, the Demon Dragon. After the most anime boss fight ever, Link saves Zelda, who's been stuck at a dragon herself, and finally frees Hyrule from thousands of years of torment. So yeah, the Zelda timeline technically ends here. Or does it? I guess we'll see what the new Zelda game comes next with Age of Imprisonment. That's the end of today's video. If you enjoyed talking about some Zelda lore with me, smash that subscribe button. If you broke your phone, I'm not responsible. Just kidding. I love you all. I'm really grateful for all of you that support the channel, and I promise to keep making the best videos I can for you. I've noticed my shorts have been doing well, so thank you times 100 for that. You are all legends. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in our next video. Until then, take care.